My name is James Williams Jr. This is Kung Fu Epic number 2. This is part 2 of addressing the Hollywood clusterfuck of ethnicities and leading roles. And I was on Brandon Lee and David Carradine in Kung Fu. So, Brandon Lee had the fight scene with David Carradine, and it was a good. You guys can go back and Google that shit. It was like 1980 something. I was a kid. I'm like maybe 7 or 8 years younger than Brandon Lee, so I don't really remember. But Brandon Lee is pretty tall, so Hollywood, you can get into acting as young as the age of 2. If you're blessed, you will have a good career, and if you're not, you fall to the wayside. So, opening doors with his daddy's name barely, he did very well in the kung fu thing, you know. And then his next movie that wasn't exactly a great movie, it had good action, and he did well in it as far as I'm concerned, was Laser Mission. All right. So Laser Mission kind of opened a little bit more doors. He did something else. I can't remember the name, but I watched it. He was like maybe in it for like maybe 40 seconds. I don't remember the name of it, but it wasn't really a feature with him in it. And then he did another one. I can't remember the name of that was either. But then eventually he did Showdown Low Tokyo with Dolph Lundgren, and that propelled him into doing Rapid Fire. And then he did his final movie, which was The Crow. And I don't know if he was going to work on another movie, but he died just down the road here at Screen Gems in South Carolina when I was still in high school in the year of either 92 or 93, because I was about to graduate. You know, so um, he made littler movies when he was younger and finally to film silent movies with his little sister Shannon, and they pretty much stopped Shannon from making movies just for her safety, I guess, because Shannon did some good movies too. You have to Google them to find them. And good luck. And she also was on WMAC Masters, and Shannon Lee is a gem, and she's like one of America's treasures for the fact that she is the only living daughter of Bruce Lee that we know of for sure. Now, for those who are claiming, Bruce Lee, if you're not kin to him like cousins and stuff like that, like Robert Lee had some children, and other Bruce Lee siblings also had children. But I don't want to make this all about Bruce Lee because I'll be on here forever because him and Brandon, well, mostly him, was my hero. And, I have a lot of Asian heroes, but, and I have a lot of Asian girls that I lust after. But for the most part, these guys made an impact in films. But most of them never got leads. Had to go back to Hollywood, Hong Kong to get leads for Hollywood films. You understand how that works? The dichotomy of how Hollywood just refuses to let an Asian or any other token ethnicity outside of white have the leading role. Now, low budget films, that shit doesn't matter. Because low budgets, oh yeah, we'll have a black guy, we'll have the Billy Blanks, or we'll have the Chuck Jeffries, or we'll have the Gary Daniels because he's a European guy. He's up there in age. I'm pretty close in age behind him. I'm not that close, but I'm close enough because I'm 44 and he's looking right well at 52, 53, somewhere in there. He's in his 50s. I know he's at least 10 years older than me because Jet Li's at least 10 years older than me. In fact, Jet Li is definitely 10 years older than me. He was born in 63, I was born in 73. So therefore, I know that Jet Li's a little bit older than me. But Gary Daniels might be older than him, but I don't really know because I know Ray Park's in between us. I'm pretty sure Ray Park and I might be the same age. He might be better. Opportunities come to those who live in the right locations, all right? And Charlottesville is not a good location, even though the promise of Hollywood East has come and stomped the mud hole in my ass and never happened. That's the studio that I'm mentioning. Sister, you know who they are. Anyway, so the whole thing is that when you don't have writers of different colors, you can't make movies about different things, and this is why we keep having these clusterfuck reboots instead of let's go with something brand new. Let's change a story around. Let's do this. Let's do that. I'm gonna give you guys a big ass spoiler, and the guy that made the movie is probably gonna be mad as hell about it, but I'm gonna say it, and I don't have any money, so suing me would be pointless. You can sue me for $1. But if you've seen the Avatar movie, the one with the big blue people, a lot of those things that happen in there were like French and Indian War stuff and Native Americans fighting Native American war stuff. And if you notice, they all seem to have used like Native American tribal paint and weapons. And when I was watching it many, many years ago, back in 2008 or whatever the hell, I was like, I know this fucking story. And I was like, I know this story because of the simple fact that, yeah, it's not taking place on Earth, it's taking place on Pandora, but the story with him taming the beast, there's a Native American story about taming a wild Mustang. I can't remember the name of it, and I can't remember the exact tribe, but I know there's a Native American story where one warrior brave was the only one that could tame this wild horse. Now, I don't know the name of the legend, but I know that I've heard it. And it's the same thing where he tamed the damn dragon, and he was not from the pure tribe because he wasn't one of those people. He was just an avatar. Now, then the one where the tribes are brought together to fight one superior force. That's also a Native American legend against a certain tribe that was like just dominating. And I'm like, okay, I know this story. And there was one warrior in like a bunch of small tribes that made tribes come together to fight a tribe that was just wiping out tribes. So yeah, Native Americans, we have blood on our hands too, against our own people, you know, because when we got to this land, we splintered out, and what we didn't want to share, we kind of took, you know. So there's no saints in any human tribes whatsoever, you know. Each tribe has blood on their hands, whether they want to own it or not. It's a whole different ballgame. But every tribe of Native Americans, every tribe of white people, every tribe of African people, we all have blood on our hands, on the blood that we've shed on conquering other nations. Alright? So before you try to say, well, I'm from Cherokee, we have no blood on our hands. Oh, yeah, we do. Don't think for a New York minute that we don't. Every tribe of human being has blood on their hands, but no one wants to address that. Now, staying on track with this, a lot of things that we don't have. We don't have a straight up Japanese family living in a Japanese style and a Japanese way. Now, if you look at Japanese TV, or if you have access to the internet, and they did Sailor Moon and they did all the other things, you know, they do have American actors. They have black actors in some of the Japanese Power Ranger shows that play themselves as like baseball stars or whatever, because you know baseball is one of the international sports, soccer is an international sport, you know, and those guys have made appearances on shows like Power Rangers and shit like that over there. But we don't, and they don't have tokens over there, but they mostly have Asians over there because there are not enough Americans living over there who wants to work over there. I'll gladly take the job. Come and get me. And then you know, there's their shows. They have most multifaceted Asian characters who don't play white characters because they're all based in Japan. You have maybe one or two white characters or one or two white people in the shows because there's maybe that many white people living in that point of China at that time. And if it's a period piece, then they have European sailors and no Africans, you know, because Africans probably didn't really go to China. But if they were slaves on a boat, they would be there. But the shows never really had them, you know. And the Philippines had a show with this chick that drowned when she was 7 but came back to life and could see ghosts for the rest of her life. And I never got to see the end of it because it was a good series. And they have a lot of shows over there when AZN was the thing. Because I loved AZN. I watched it all. I watched every Chinese and Japanese and Korean soap opera that ever came on. And they would work over here. But we don't want them to be an Asian lead. Right? We don't want them to have a black lead. We don't want them to have a lead anything outside of a white person. And you know, these things it's Hollywood. You know, you don't have enough of those writers. I'm not saying Hollywood is racist at all. I'm just saying that there's not enough actors of Asian descent. There's not enough actors of black descent. There's not enough actors of Native American descent at all. If it wasn't for Adam Beach or Sonny Langston and the guy that plays on Renegade, I can't think of his name. I can never get his name right ever. He has a mullet. He had a mullet. I don't know what he has now, but he played Bobby Sixkiller in Renegade. You know, we don't have enough in Graham Greene. We don't have enough Native American actors to fucking begin with to fill roles. And then if we do have them, they don't get big roles. And, you know, I'm more than willing to take a little role because, you know, I'm mixed. I'm never going to be full-blooded Cherokee. I don't ever have to worry about them saying, hey, yeah, James is one of our people. No, I fall into that category. I'm everybody's people, and then I'm nobody's people. And the reason I say that, if you've been paying attention to any of my videos, especially the ones about like racial shit, then you'll understand where I'm coming from. And if you're not mixed or of color, of some other ethnicity, genetically, I'm not saying like you're white and you've been assimilated. I mean like straight up down. If you're not genetically of a different ethnicity, then you have no fucking idea of what it's been like to be me for 44 years. You know, when you walk into a room and when people see you, the ones who think you're black or Mexican, and they're cops and they follow you around the mall or around the place, and they don't know that you have money in your pocket, and they think that you're going to steal, you know, and the whole time they're following you, their own people are stealing right under their noses and no one says shit. And I lost my job at Sears is because I went literally on the warpath because they had a Thanksgiving party. And I know this is like off base from the topic at hand, but I had a job and I lost it because my job was to clean up. I understand that part of the job. But I went off because the people who had the party were all black people and all white people. There were no mixed people there. There were no Native Americans invited to this party. And I had to come to work to clean it. But they couldn't take 40 some odd steps to go get extra trash bags. And I don't give a damn who you are. No one wants to pick up anybody else's puke or poop or any of the other nasty things I had to do at Sears. But when I come in there, and the Amazon in charge, her name was Gail. I don't know what her last name is, but she was tall as fuck. She was like 6'6". She's like the tallest woman I've ever seen in my life, next to a girl in school named Casey Smithers when I was in like middle school or grade school. Hello, Casey. Anyway, so I went on the warpath. I mean, I literally, anything black in me was gone. Anything white in me was gone. I was straight Cherokee Indian that day. And I went slam the fuck off. And so they fired me on the weekend. Friday came out. They fired me on that Sunday. And 6 months later, they caught that lady, Gail, whatever your name is, stealing from Sears. But here's the joy part. They didn't fire her. They just transferred her to Sears in Stanton. Now, I don't know if she still works there, and I don't give a fuck. But that was what was speculated. That was rumored. But they fired me for cussing and flipping out. They also fired me for writing what they wrote on my thing was that I have a smart ass mouth and I don't talk to women properly about bathroom hygiene. Now, the reason behind that, and then I'm going to get back on track, the reason behind that is not that I was a racist, alright, because I'm not a racist, I don't have the right to be a racist. But what happened was, one day, because see, the ladies' bathroom in Sears was just horrible. If you ever seen an episode of The Twilight Zone, it's kind of like what it was in there, because every day there was something new. And I didn't know that ladies didn't have a problem playing with poop. So, yeah, literally. Apparently, women like to shit in their hands and smear it on walls, and write the words poop on the wall. Anyway, I've had to clean some really gross stuff working at the local Sears here. And no, I don't give a fuck if they see this video, because, hey, I got fired. It's not a lie. I had to plop poop off walls and put them in the toilet with gloves that had the gambit thing going on. So this finger was exposed, and this finger was exposed, and this finger was exposed. So you have to try to pick it up with the two fingers in the gloves that are not exposed. Hey, playing with poop like 2 or 3 days old is not fucking fun. Poop is bad. I don't give a fuck who you are. So one lady came in and told me that I didn't clean the toilets well enough. And the long short was, the next day, I put so much soap on that toilet that it would have to dissolve. I couldn't wipe it off because that's how much I put on there. I went through like 4 or 5 cans of foam soap stuff. And then she came back and told me that there was too much soap on the toilet. And then me being the asshole that I am, I straight up told her, I said, well, yesterday it wasn't clean enough. Today it's too clean. So If it's too clean and it's not clean enough, then you need to go home and wash your ass. So they wrote all that shit down, and I got fired. So that's pretty much how that works. Now, was I being an asshole about it? Oh, fuck yeah. I own it. I was an asshole about it. But when a person has to clean for a living, and you go out of your way to purposely make their job harder, what do you expect? It's the same thing when you go to a restaurant. You don't talk bad about the cook. You don't talk bad about the server. You respect them. You get your food, and if you can't afford to leave a tip, you leave a tip. If you can't afford to leave a tip, then you don't. But if you have change, like if you're paying in cash, whatever they give you back, put on a plate. It ain't much, but you leave a little note, say, look, I don't have a lot of money, but what I have is yours, because I've worked in restaurants. I've been that poor guy. I'm still that poor guy. And if I have any change, even if it's like 25 cents, I leave a tip. No, I went to go see Thor Ragnarok, and 3 people served me. I only had $3 left from buying the popcorn and buying the ticket. Now, the good news is that military discount knocked the price of my ticket down. So that gave me money to buy food. So I bought food, and what I had left was $3. So I took that $3, and I was going to take it home at first. And then I said, you know what? I don't have money to leave a tip. But you know what? This $3 might give someone else a better shot than what I had when I was growing up. In my restaurants, if I got a tip, outside of somebody being a smart ass saying, here's a tip, get a new job, I was grateful for getting a tip. Especially once I found out when I worked at the Colony Hotel that I actually could get tips. I was like, oh, I can get tips? Cool. So I got tips. I was making $6.50 an hour. So I was making some money, but I wasn't making a lot of money. But, if they left me $1 and I'd asked about it, and it's like, yeah, you can have tips. It's like, okay, so when people start leaving me tips, oh, you better believe me, I got my tips. So if you don't have that much, leave what you can, because they're just as poor as we are, and we should give them a tip, Now, I'm never going to get on the level of acting like Tyler Perry. And if Tyler Perry's listening, I need a job. But, the simple fact is, if you can afford to tip someone, then you should. You don't have to tip them a $500 tip like he did. But, if you have it, yeah, knock yourself out. Because there are poor people out here. Times are tight. As an independent filmmaker, I don't have any money. Straight up and down. So I don't eat out. As an independent filmmaker, I barely make gas money. I work 2 jobs. One job is a work as needed job, so I have to hunt for another job. I'm waiting for the Army to finish paying the way back to school. So I have a college meeting next week at 12 o'clock on Wednesday, I think. So I have to get this done because I need to go back to school. Now, I'm not going back for acting because no degree in acting can guarantee you an acting job. All right? 1, you have to be comfortable in front of the camera. 2, you have to be willing to give everything. And I'm giving everything to this channel. Excuse me. And 3, it doesn't matter if you give everything if no one gives you a job. So you have to have a fallback plan. You have to live in reality. You have to have a real job. Now, if my acting career takes off tomorrow, this channel will be the first channel to know because I'll straight stream that shit live if I can figure out how to do that from this computer. If not, believe me, the very next second that I get on the computer, oh, it's done. Let's say Westworld gives me a job tomorrow. It's like, you're going to pay the Native American on Westworld. You only have 1 appearance, and then you're dead. Okay, so I'll stream about it. I say, it has begun. So I'll be on Westworld, and then I would get them to film it and put it up on my channel, and then that's that. Let's say I got a job on The Walking Dead tomorrow. Oh, fuck yeah. I will take it. I'm probably going to get killed, but hey, it's cool because it's a door-opening thing that I need. Let's say I get a job on any one of my favorite shows from DC or Marvel. Yeah, I'm taking it. I would prefer Marvel, but I'll take DC. I'm not that judgmental. I'm not a hard person to please, But the thing is, we don't have enough diversity in writing. So if you don't have a diverse writing staff, you can't have a diverse show. Now you see where the clusterfuck begins. I'm sorry, not the cuss word. Now, the reason I said that is because, one, you can't write a story about a black man if you don't know black people. You can try, but if you don't have somebody black to proofread it and check it out, like, yeah, also depends on where that black guy grew up. Because if that black guy is coming from a predominantly rich or wealthy family, he doesn't know shit about the ghetto. And he can fake the funk all he wants, but the truth of the matter is, all right, and though a ghetto is a ghetto, depending on where you come from, not all ghettos are the same. If you come from the Bronx, y'all motherfuckers got some tight ass ghettos. If you coming from Detroit, y'all motherfuckers got some tight ass ghettos. If you coming from Chi-Town, y'all motherfuckers got some tight ass ghettos. If you coming somewhere from Virginia, our ghettos are tight, but they're like watered down tight. We're all poor. No one likes anyone else, but we're all trying to survive because we don't have a fucking choice there. But we're not killing each other. Like if you're coming from Detroit or Chicago or the Bronx, we're not killing each other for supremacy. We're down south. Our ghettos are a little bit laid back. I don't know anything about ghettos in Florida. I don't know anything about ghettos in Canada. I've only been to New York maybe 4 or 5 times in my lifetime, which is why I brought up the Bronx. Because the Bronx and Brooklyn, there's some tough ass places. I've never been to Buffalo, so I think I might pass through there on the way to Canada. But like I said, they always say a ghetto is a ghetto, and there's some truth to that, and there's some lies to that, because it really depends on that fucking ghetto. You coming from a ghetto from Philly, hey, get your Philly on. Ghettos in Philly ain't no fucking joke either. Instead of brotherly love, and instead of I'll punch you in the fucking face and then love you later. Okay, so a ghetto is not always a ghetto, but you need to learn the rules when you go through the ghetto. That way you don't get your throat slit. And most people from ghettos can tell when you're not from there. It's like because they know every fucking body. Like, yeah, this motherfucker passing through. I think I'm gonna go fuck with him. So here's the thing. All right, I'm gonna say this and pray that I'm giving you good advice. All right. No matter where you go, first, be yourself. Second, don't come off as a hard ass. Because in most ghettos up north, they will test your shit. Alright? Simple as that. They will test your fucking shit. I know for a fact that in Philly, if you come off as a hard ass and you trying to, I'm a bad motherfucker from New York, it ain't where you from, slick. It's what the fuck you can do. And motherfuckers in ghettos, they will call you on that shit. Alright? So, let's keep that shit real. If you're black and you're from Canada and you've never seen a ghetto, you can't just come down here and be like, yeah, I'm a nigga from the streets, Okay, you have been told, and writers don't understand that if they're not black or know black people who know black people who've been there. Now, if you're black and you've never been in a ghetto, God bless you. God bless you. This might be a 3-episode video. if you're a writer and you're a white guy and you're like from the Bronx, the hell, there you go. You ain't even white. You from the Bronx, dude. You technically is black, because you can be a white guy from the Bronx and y'all fucking know, y'all motherfuckers is black just like the rest of us. And I'm not from the Bronx, but I know people from the Bronx. All right, so there you go. If you're from Queens, there's ghettos in Queens, but they're not like the Bronx. They're not like Brooklyn. But hey, there's some white dudes in Brooklyn and some white dudes in Bronx that will fuck you up. Know what I'm saying? I kid you not. I'm sorry for swearing, but hey, it's not your color. It's not where you're from. It's always a case of what you can do. So don't go places like the Bronx or Brooklyn or Queens or Philly or Detroit or Chicago and pretend you're a fucking hard ass, because most of these motherfucking places like that, they will call you on it. And some of the motherfuckers might just shoot your ass on the street. So keep that shit real. Like, nah, dude, I'm just passing through. I don't want no trouble. You won't even see me no more. Except for when I gotta come back through this motherfucker to go home. Other than that, it's cool. And then you got those stick-up kids that they just kids. They want to make a name for themselves, so they want to do you bodily harm. So I will give you advice. If they have a gun, you should probably give them what they want. But me being a vet, if they have a gun and you blink or you turn your back on me, or I'm gonna give you what you want. I'm gonna throw my wallet right in your goddamn face. And when you blink to go get that wallet, if you haven't pulled that trigger, I'm taking your shit. Just that simple. I'm taking you the fuck out because you're trying to take my fucking shit that I worked hard for. So there it is. Survival is everything. So we're gonna make a third and final video about the writing in Hollywood. Now I know this video totally went off track, but it makes it sense if you really listen to how if you don't have people who've had life experiences like this, they really can't write stories about black people. They really can't write stories about Asian people. They really can't write stories about Native American people. They really can't write stories about white people. If you come from one of those Susie Homebaker homes, you don't have a whole lot of bad experiences. And if you don't have a lot of bad experiences, then you write about good experiences, and that will make a story go by. Then you hire writers who have had bad experiences, and then that way you can have the full conundrum of what you need to explain. I'm James Williams Jr. Come for having number 2, part 2. Part 3 will be coming up in a New York minute.